Hello, I'm Lee Morrison and welcome to Bespoke Addict YouTube channel. I'm absolutely thrilled that you found it here. Those of you who follow Bespoke Addict on Instagram and have been so patiently waiting the publication of these films, thank you very much. You guys will already understand that I'm quite a collector, restorer and indeed a wearer of vintage bespoke items, whether it be suits or shoes and exotic skin luggage, etc. Now, through Instagram, I get an awful lot of requests for help, guidance, information, etc. on how to sort of care, maintain or repair certain items. It's rather difficult just through texting and through email is to offer that guidance. So I've decided to put together this YouTube channel. And it will be presented as a series of films. A lot of the restorations will be quite long and quite large, and it would be unwise to present them as a one full film. So I'm going to split them down into their individual sort of areas. For instance, I'm going to be starting the first series, and this will be a series of, I don't know, at least 5, possibly 6 or 7 films. This shoe, it's a Northampton Benchmade shoe. In fact, it was a gift from my wife about 7 years ago. They're made by Barker, and I've enjoyed them. I've loved wearing them. They're a nice shoe, and I've really worn them an awful lot. I've probably overworn them. And they've become very sort of floppy and squashed, and the shape is all misshaped. They've stretched just for overuse. And you know, they're actually now become too big, purely because the skin's stretched, and they do look a bit of a sorry mess. There's quite a bit of cracking in the skin, there's cuts and scratches and gouges. Now, I'm fairly confident I'll be able to restore that shoe to an extremely presentable condition. It will look totally different. All of the wrinkles, the cracks, the excess skin, all of this that flops about here, that will disappear. And we'll resize this shoe onto a bespoke tree inside. We'll resize that with steam. Following that, the surface of the skin will be, using abrasives, we'll resurface this skin to remove the cuts and the scratches. And then following that, we'll have to re-moisturize it and re-dye the shoe. That will be various sort of films, and 1 or 2 of them might be quite long. There is an awful lot of commentary that's extremely important on the resurfacing and the shrinking. So I won't be able to keep those 2 films short. They will probably be at least 15 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes. So I'll do my best to keep them short, but they will be quite long. But the commentary is important. So that'll be the first series. Let's get that one out of the way. I'm just trying to give you a good sense of what to expect going forward. Now here we have 2 magnificent pairs of George Cleverley shoes from the late 1960s. This one's been restored, this one's to be restored. Now they both were made for the same gentleman who was Prince Rupert Lowenstein, the Rolling Stones financial manager. And following his death, I've acquired an awful lot of his shoes, all bespoke by George Cleverley. Now this shoe I restored last year, and it's got that absolutely sensational sort of classic sort of George Cleverley chiseled toe, and it's unmistakable. This one is the same, but it's less obvious because it's become so stretched and floppy and baggy and misshapen. It's in terrible condition. This one was actually much worse. It was deeply cut. It was wrinkled. It was the gouges everywhere, horrible cracking in the skin. It was all misshapen. All of the stitching was rotten, and it had flopped around and become too big. So I've stripped the shoe. I've restitched every single stitch on there through the original maker's holes by hand. I've resized the shoe with steam onto the original wooden fixed tree. That was the original shape. A little like this shoe. This tree no longer fits. The tree rattles about, and there's an awful lot of excess. The tree hasn't changed shape, the skin has. So if we resize onto that tree, we know we're going to be restoring the shoe, beg your pardon, to its original size. So that'll be another entire series. It's a big job. It'll be several films, but you'll be absolutely amazed at the quality that this shoe will come out. The dates on these, that one 1968, this is 1969. So that'll be a complete series. I'm sure a lot of you will enjoy that. Let's put this out of the way. Another bespoke shoe, this is another English shoe made by Paulson Scone. To be fair, it's in much better condition, but once again, it's stretched quite a bit here. It's got its original Paulson Scone fixed wooden bespoke tree, but it's stretched a lot here. So we'll go through the same process. We'll remove that excess skin. But more serious on this shoe is around the edging here, around the heel. The skins have started to split. It's not serious at this stage, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's at least a dozen little splits in the edge of the skin, and if these shoes are to be worn, it will simply tear. It will just tear right down to the sole. They'll be totally scrap. Now, what I will do, I'm going to unpick very carefully the stitching along the edges here, separate the lining all the way around, and then I will repair very discreetly with a piece of reinforcing skin. It's most likely to be chamois leather. I will repair that outer skin from behind, and then carefully restitch through the original holes all the way around, and then trim off the excess, any excess chamois. And we'll go through the same sort of process with the other shoes. We'll strip them, take the wrinkles out. But that is quite a common failure. In old shoes, vintage shoes. They split, the skin split and tear. So that's an important series. And once again, 1 or 2 of the films might be quite long, but I think that will be quite useful to an awful lot of people. Moving on, still on shoes. Now, these are quite unusual. These are brand new, and this will be quite a shock to a lot of viewers. These are Gaziola and Girling, and I have 3 pairs of these. They're brand new, but they're all too big for me. But I didn't buy them brand new. I've acquired a lot of shoes through somebody I know quite well. He's got an awful lot of very fine and bespoke shoes. And as it turned out, he had an accident with one of his legs, and he suffered quite a serious break. And it's left him with one foot bigger than the other. So his bespoke shoes no longer fit, which is a dreadful shame. Now, I've acquired his whole sort of old shoe collection. He's now having them remade in the correct sizes. Now, this is one of them. It's never even been on his feet. It doesn't go on his feet. It would have done before the accident, but now it doesn't. This particular shoe is just stunning, but it's too big for me. And I have 3 pairs, very much the same in different colours. And what I need to do is lose about a whole size, including the sole. Now, this sole will need to be shrunken with steam over its whole length. I need to reduce that length by at least 10, possibly 12 millimetres. And it'll be the same over the rest of the shoe. It will simply be too big. It has inside a rather magnificent, perfectly fitting Gaziola and Girling tree. And I can't use that tree to reshape these shoes. That's the perfect size, but it's too big for me. So I'll need to discard that. And I do have various other trees that have a similar toe shape that I will insert this tree and shrink this shoe down onto that tree. I know this seems quite shocking on a brand new shoe. There's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely perfect in every way, truly magnificent. It doesn't fit me, it's too big, along with the others in the range. I think I have 7 pairs. I have 3 pairs of Gaziola and Girling, 3 pairs of Lobs, and a pair of George Cleverley, all magnificent in their own way, but they're all simply too big for me. So I will be resizing these shoes. It obviously upsets the surface of the skin, which will need to be resurfaced and recoloured afterwards. You lose an awful lot of the colour. So this is going to be a very important series. A lot of people will find that shocking and quite interesting at the same time, treating such a brand new shoe, a beautiful shoe, to such abuse. But it's what's going to happen, and I'm going to film it. Now, there'll be a lot of bags. This is a 1880s. It's alligator skin. I use this bag every day. This is my grooming case. I've got my shaving kit and, I don't know, everything else that I need day to day is in this little bag, and I keep it with me all the time. But it's starting to show signs of age, and it needs a complete overhaul. So I'll remove the lining from this bag. I need access to the back of the skins, if I can. Yes, I can. The skins are starting to split. I can actually get my finger in behind some of the scales. They just split along between the scales. It it looks like a jigsaw really, and the pieces come apart. But I need to get to behind the skins to be able to reinforce from behind. And I have similar problems in the corners, and it's not as big a job as you think. And I do get a lot of requests on Instagram how to repair damage to exotic skins. And so this particular bag, the handle's starting to split as well. So we'll have the handle off, dismantle it, repair it from behind, strengthen, put it back. It will all go back, but it will just have a crisper, better shape. The scales won't be hanging off. That'll be a series of films, once again, maybe 3 or 4 films. And one more bag. Let's just pull this one out. In fact, this is a little tiny crocodile skin. Is it a briefcase? Or yeah, it's a briefcase. And the handles failed. It's just completely dried and snapped. And I'll take that handle off, repair it from behind, and put it back on. You won't be able to see the evidence. The stitching will go through the original maker's holes. This is quite a common failure on an awful lot of bags, whether it be ladies' handbags, briefcases, suitcases. The handle construction is quite similar on many of the bags. And so if I only do the one, it will give you a really good sense of perhaps how to repair your own handle if you have a broken handle. The construction is very, very similar. So that will be a relatively straightforward film and fix. So I could go on and on here, but I don't want to make this too lengthy. You know, there's an awful lot planned, and it's going to take me at least 12 months to film everything that I intend to share with you. And as I say to you, I just wanted to give you a good sense of what to expect on this channel. I do hope you find these films useful and enjoyable. You know, I certainly enjoy doing the restorations. These items are my everyday attire. They're not museum pieces to me, even though a lot of them are very, very old. And I just really enjoy doing the restorations. I find it peaceful. It's not my profession. I'm not a leather worker by profession. It's purely a hobby. These are techniques I've learnt myself. And a lot of it I actually learnt repairing and restoring old Jaguars. I'm quite a collector of 1960s Jaguars. And that's where I learnt much of my leather repairing techniques. And as I say to you, it's not my profession. It's just purely a hobby. And I do hope I can share the fun with you. And thank you for watching. And if you enjoy the series, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and do enjoy the coming films. I'm Lee Morrison. This is Bespoke Addict YouTube channel.